ever since I was young, I always played
Mm-hmm.
basketball. So all of my memories are with basketball. I would say every weekend, like I would always play with boys and stuff. Like I would always be like
Mm-hmm.
the only girl with the
Mm-hmm.
boys, hanging out with the boys. That's how I got tough. So really, that's probably one of my favorite memories because like they back then kids were hard and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so I had
Mm-hmm.
they didn't play with me. So just
Right.
learning how to grow and lock in with them to become the person and player that I was, that was probably a good memory for me. Because not like, I'm older now. Things like that seem like, okay, yeah, whatever. But now it's like, it meant a lot.
Who is Michaela Hudson? How would you describe yourself? Is there anything that you can bring up that people don't know about you so they can get to know you?
Michaela is transformed, transitioned, and I've been through a lot. I'm young, but I got a story. Even deeper
Mm-hmm.
than my grief story. Like, yeah, I lost my
Mm-hmm.
grandmother in college. I feel like that's kind of the second part of my testimony of my life because that's when everything really changed.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, like probably when I was in middle school, like I was kind of like bad and just rebellious and like I fell down bad and several like I was
Mm-hmm.
good in a lot of things, but
Mm-hmm.
I still was in areas it's like I kind of fell bad and fell down it because I didn't like I know who God was, but I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
like and one day I just had a moment where I had to just come to Jesus and just change my whole life. And that's why I ended up going to private school. And when I went to private school in high school, that really helped me. It was uncomfortable to go to private school because,
Mm-hmm.
I never used to be around different race, different races of people. And
Mm-hmm.
then I didn't know how I was going to be treated because I wasn't used to people really treating me kind.
Right.
So that was really my big wake up call, going there, and I know it was God sent because like those people were like angels to me, and they still are, and they helped me through the transitioning process. Because even when my first year of private school, I was on probation. So that means
Mm-hmm.
like if you can't do nothing, and those
Mm-hmm.
people
Mm-hmm.
those people really helped me and pushed me, and I don't think I could have picked, or my mom could have picked a better choice for me to go there because that's when everything transpired. And I remember like I had a conversation with God. I was like, man, like if you real, show me because we had chapel every Tuesday in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Weird, but I liked it, but it was weird. But I was like, God, give me something that I know you real. I don't want it to be nothing crazy, but like I need to see you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
one day I was going to school and I was in my Jeep and this guy had fell asleep behind the wheel and crashed into me. And
Mm-hmm.
I ended up having a bad concussion and I lost partial hearing in my left ear. So a lot of people don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I just had to kind of learn how to maneuver around that still to this day. It's better,
Right.
but without that situation happening, that defined Michaela for everything. So I
Mm-hmm.
can never, downplay God. I could never say I don't have an example because he showed me.
Mm-hmm.
My truck was total, everything was, but I wasn't. And,
Mm-hmm.
everything end up getting dismissed. Like nothing happened to me, nothing happened to us. Like it's just
Mm-hmm.
God was like, okay, this was an intentional moment for me. So that was like the marking and branding of myself. Like, and ever since
Mm-hmm.
that moment, I moved different heavily. So, yeah.
So you think that that experience made you closer to God?
Yeah. Because it
Yeah.
could have been worse, like being in the
Right.
paramedic and just hearing stories from. And it's funny because I had a bad concussion at the time. I had
Mm-hmm.
a really bad
Mm-hmm.
concussion, but I remember the paramedic saying like, you know, there's so many people that didn't make it through. And he was telling me about his son that had
Mm-hmm.
crashed into a light pole and passed away. I remember that, but I was out of it, but it was God wanted me to hear that.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Mhm.
everything changed for me since then.
How did your family and community support you in pursuing your education and career goals?
Even with funeral service, like I always, everybody that know me since I was a little girl knew that I always wanted to be in funeral service.
Mhm.
And then I know that I always played basketball all my life. So I know my dream was to go to the WNBA. Everybody had that dream, but I did make it to play college basketball. Um, and that wasn't a shocker because that's just something that I did all my life. And then
Mhm.
I pursued mortuary school after um get my bachelor's, and it wasn't nothing about it easy, but everybody, once I'm done, I graduated. Like it wasn't like a shocker because it's something that I always did. I always been into stuff like that. Like if it wasn't sports, and I was in high school, I worked. We would leave school. You could leave school if you had a job like half of the day, your senior year, and I would go to work. I worked for the corner office in high school,
Mhm.
so I pretty much had my eyes open with the death industry for a while.
Mhm.
So it's
Mhm.
it's nothing new. So I just follow my steps for my life when it was supposed to happen, not when I thought it was gonna happen. When it was supposed to happen. So everybody's support was pretty cool and genuine.
So, what really inspired you to pursue a career in the funeral services and grief counseling? I mean, because I can tell you was into sports, so school and in college, and then transition from that to being a grief counselor and working in funeral homes. Because I mean that's it's different. I mean,
Right,
playing sports and getting to that, I mean it's deep. Being a
right.
grief counselor is not just anything. I mean, you got to
Right.
deal with all type of stuff, and you got to carry other people's burdens and
Mhm.
listen to them. Be a motivation to them at the same time while you going through your things.
Right.
So it's not something that's easy. I'm sure.
Mhm. It's not. Um, that's good that you brought that up though. Well, so when I was in college, my grandmother transitioned, so I was
Mm,
hit. Like I
mm-hmm,
got hit in life, but I
mm-hmm,
never got hit like this. Like I didn't think
mm-hmm,
that it would have been on me that long. Like how you
mm-hmm,
lose somebody you grew
mm-hmm.
up with or your cousin, it's like
Yeah.
a week
Mm-hmm,
or a month.
mm-hmm,
But it was years. I
mm-hmm,
I was messed up. Like the season that I thought I was gonna have,
mm-hmm,
I couldn't have it because my mental was gone. I was
mm-hmm,
there, but I
mm-hmm.
wasn't.
Right. Right.
So I said after I graduated from mortuary school, I was like, I'm gonna be a grief counselor one day. But the funeral home that I was working at, that I still currently work at right now, there were some people that they will reach out and be like, they needed grief counseling.
Hmm.
And it was like the more I heard it, it was like I don't like to send people out of our
Mm-hmm,
care to
mm-hmm,
somebody that would in Atlanta that we don't completely know. And I said that
mm-hmm,
it'd be very beneficial to have that. They already developing this relationship with us at the funeral home while we're dealing with their family. Why not, you know, go ahead and apply? And I did, and it took me some time to get it done. I thought it was gonna be
mm-hmm,
like it didn't. It took me a minute because when I looked at the program, I was like, okay, this program ain't nothing to play with.
mm-hmm,
So I took it at ease because you don't want to rush this information. This information is learning how to deal with kids. This
mm-hmm,
information how to learn
mm-hmm,
how to deal with elderly, all type of grief. I didn't even know it was
mm-hmm,
that many type of griefs in the
mm-hmm,
world, but it
mm-hmm.
is.
Mhm,
So I took my time and to allow my testimony and my story to push
mhm,
me to do it. So when somebody the clients that I have, they'll know um and feel comfortable because I've been there with them.
right, right.
Because we can you relate different to
Yeah.
somebody that done been through something that you done
Mhm,
been through. So when somebody call me and say they feel this type of way or their emotions here and they there or they feeling like they don't want to be here no more, like I get it because you have all these mixed emotions because nobody teaches you how to do life without them.
right,
I didn't
right,
have
right.
I just this just happened and I'm like this is just a big transition for me. So I really lost everything and gained it back bigger and better, but I had to lose something to, to see that and to figure that out. So I don't want to be in the world and not help it because this is
Mhm,
grief is a underlying issue to a lot of things that people don't know
mhm,
about.
mhm, mhm,
Death, You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like
Mhm.
it's deep. Like it's
It
real deep.
is.
So
It
I
is.
I want to be that person in the world that you can still see a light and glow in me and know that I'm a human and I know what you talk
Mhm.
about and I can relate to you.
Mhm.
So that's how that happened.
You know, a lot of depression, anxiety, PTSD, a lot of these things that people actually go through is because of grief, some kind of
Mhm.
grief. But you know, a lot of them, you know, don't get it, don't understand it because they're traumatized.
Mhm.
So they don't like to go through the core of the situation that's really destroying them, eating them inside. You know what I mean? So being a grief counselor, you help them bring that out. And
Right.
like you said, you can relate because you also been through that. You know, it's not the same thing as someone speaking to somebody that's going through something and that person never went through anything than actually having someone who been through that situation speak to you because it's
Right.
like, okay, they've been through it, they know what we going through, something that you gotta deal with. So how do you approach supporting families and individuals through the grieving process?
Right. I have a website um that I offer in person. Mostly I do
Mm-hmm.
all my sessions online virtually. Most of my clients are across the world, all around the world.
Mm-hmm.
So, and my main base is TikTok. I literally get all my clients from TikTok
Mm-hmm.
because that's just where I express myself, and I kind of had already a following on there. So I said, okay, cool. Let
Mm-hmm.
me transition from the funeral home content to something serious, and
Mm-hmm.
I barely even post funeral home content anymore because I did what I feel like I did what I was supposed to do in that area. So now it's time to um do something else. So I get a lot of feedback from people and off of TikTok. Got a lot of
Mm-hmm.
opportunities from there, from people and associations and stuff. Not all are good, some are not, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, mainly TikTok.
Can you share a meaningful experience you have had as a grief counselor?
Mm,
Is there like a situation that pops up?
yeah.
You
I
probably have. You probably have many.
yeah, because I'm sitting here thinking like from dealing with you know I think the more sudden deaths are the worst. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm having clients
Mm-hmm.
that just lost their daughter or just committed suicide, or they
Mm-hmm.
were just here last week and my daughter just, what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
That's different. Because I can feel energy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel energy through the phone. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
heavy. But I would say with that, dealing with clients, and then another meaningful thing that I didn't think that I had an opportunity to be a part of this student's research thing program in her college in Canada,
Mm-hmm.
and she wanted me a part of it. Like we had a Zoom and she sat me down. We did the questions. And I'm like, what? Like I know I was out there, but I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
that people were literally locked in with me like that to be on
Mm-hmm.
somebody paper on a
Mm-hmm.
research paper.
Mm-hmm.
So that's meaningful to me too because like dang, like people really see me as that. So
Mm-hmm.
once people always can see stuff in you sometimes deeper than you can yourself. So I had to kind of
Mm-hmm.
take a step back and just be like, okay, God, I see what you're doing. I
Mm-hmm.
that's what we on. Okay, let's do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah, you'd be surprised the amount of people you could reach and the places you could reach, not knowing. You know what I
right.
mean? Especially on TikTok, YouTube, and social media, you could talk about your life experiences, or you could talk about something that everybody can relate. And like you said, Canada. I mean, even Hawaii or whatever. I mean, it's like this. It's so many places you can reach through social media, and you won't realize the things that you can do. But with God, anything is possible. You know what I mean? With God, doors just open.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, can you share um your approach to supporting families and individuals through the grieving process? What led you start your own grief counseling business?
Just it was definitely based off my grandmother.
Okay.
Because it's Good Grief with Michaela, but it's six O's, and the reason why I did it six O's because she died on November the 6th.
Mm,
So I was like, okay, and how can I put her into this? Because that's what this is
mhm.
how this happened. I didn't know it would be
Right.
like this.
Right.
Um, So yeah, that's why I started the Good Grief with Michaela, and to just to have this, because it's not a lot of this out there. Like, you have it, but it's not like out there like that. Because when I was going through this, like, I had to go to my counselors and stuff at school. It was a mandatory. I had stuff. I'm an athlete still, but I still had to commit to certain stuff. And the counselors, like, they was cool, but they wasn't like for me, because they wasn't specialized in grief. Like, they was trying to help, but it wasn't like what I needed. And I literally had to
Mhm.
talk to them. I was like, I'm not being funny, but I don't think they relate to me, because they was kind of like comparing they loved one situation to mine. Oh, I lost my grandfather. I ain't seen him in 2 years. No, I'm talking about somebody that I talk to every day.
Mhm.
We've been together since I was a baby.
Mhm.
It don't compare, and I think
Mhm.
people get the titles, like, just because grandma and grandpa know. Some people grandma with their mother, some people grandfather with
Mhm.
their dad. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mhm. Mhm.
not saying that was the case. I got a mom, but I'm just saying, like,
Mhm.
we were just really close.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
people really have to stop doing that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So how do you balance your work at Mall Stovall Funeral Home with running your own business?
Oh, it's crazy. I really mostly take all my lunch breaks to make videos, or if I'm somewhere, like, God will literally give me topics to talk about.
Mhm.
Like, I'll be riding, he'll be like, okay, he'll put this in my mind, I put it in my notes. Like, most all my stuff
Mhm.
that I make videos on, I write it down and I just talk about it.
Mhm.
And that's how it happened. So it's not really a hindrance. I don't really make a lot of grief content at the funeral home. I'll be making it in the parking lot, or at the store, or at my apartment parking lot or something like that. I make really all my
Mhm.
videos in the car.
Mhm. Mhm. I mean, it
Hmm.
works. It works, and
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, the message will get to the people.
Right. And then I feel like when you more like, I don't think, for me, the more setup content is more
Right.
forced for you to be perfect,
Right.
or it's forced for
Right.
you to
Right.
have like this, when that's
Mhm.
not a
Mhm.
topic. You know what I'm saying? If
Mhm.
somebody can
Mhm.
see you talking about grief like this with no
Mhm.
phone, no
Mhm.
notes,
Mhm.
oh, she know
Mhm.
what she talking about.
Right.
It's a
Right.
difference. It's a difference.
Mhm. It is.
I don't need no book for this.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you being real genuine. I mean, they can see that from the videos.
Yeah.
So, what are some common misconceptions about funeral service and grief counseling?
Misconceptions in funeral service. I feel like it's overlooked. It's overlooked. Grief counseling can be overlooked in funeral service, because, a lot of times people, especially, not gonna bring race in it, but, we scared to get help. We want to look hard. We want to look bad.
Mhm.
Even when we have
Mhm.
families that come in that done lost a loved
Mhm.
one, you have ones that try to act like they're okay.
Mhm.
We have
Mhm.
ones that try to,
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Everybody got their
Mhm.
own emotions. So
Mhm.
grief counseling, that'll probably be something that happened a year later, two
Mhm.
years later, months
Mhm.
later,
Right.
or, what I'm saying? It's like, it's not super urgent.
Mhm.
Some you do, but rarely.
Right.
So
Right.
it kind of take kind of time for people to build up and see. And then if it's like, it's not really offered at funeral homes like that. I mean, they
Mhm.
have grief pamphlets,
Mhm.
and, you go on the
Yeah.
funeral home
Yeah.
website, and you
Right.
have so and so and so, but it's not in the funeral home. Like, it's not
Mhm.
direct. So this is what I
Mhm.
do, is outside of the funeral home. It's not.
Mhm.
Of course, if somebody came in, they'd be like, okay, we need a grief count. Of course, they would give them my card. My card is there,
Mhm. Mhm.
but it's not. Hey, we have a grief counselor.
Right.
Like,
Right.
and the thing is, even in funeral service school, we had to learn about this too. We take psychology and funeral service, uh, as well.
Mhm.
And, I had a discussion with someone that was like, I think that everyone should be grief counselors in funeral service. No, this is not for everybody.
Mhm.
Everybody
Mhm.
don't have the patience to deal with people. This
Mhm.
take a lot of your
Mhm.
time, a lot of patience and understanding. And if you're
Right.
not willing to hear people be repetitive about their stories and themselves, don't do it.
Mhm.
So it's not for everybody, but I think I would like for it to be more. offered if they could be more in depth about finding somebody or a therapist or having somebody on their website that they can
Mhm.
contact to know that it's there, because a lot of people don't want you in their business. A lot of people don't want you to do in counseling because they don't want you to think nothing wrong with them. They
Mhm.
don't want you to think that they crazy, which is not true. But they, you know what I'm saying? That's how we grew up in the in society, especially dealing with mental health.
Mhm.
So yeah.
How has your experience as a grief counselor changed your perspective of life? Because I'm
Mm,
sure you got a lot of testimonies.
heavy.
I'm sure you've been through a lot. How has your experience as a grief counselor changed your perspective on life?
Whew, it made me grateful every day. Like I don't take my life for granted. Even with my experience with grief, you can't.
Mhm.
Cause it's like, when you go in the stage of grief, you finding everything wrong. You trying to blame yourself. I was in college and I tried to figure out and bring up so many negative things about the situation when in reality she wouldn't even thought like that. I'm
Mhm.
like, dang, I should have left school to go get her some flowers and bring them to the hospital. Or maybe I should have did this, maybe I should have did that, maybe. And it's like, why? I had to literally come to grips with myself and be like, Michaela, stop. Like, stop. Stop beating
Mhm.
yourself up and being mad about something that she wouldn't be mad about. Cause my
Mhm.
grandma didn't even want me to be on the road traveling far. Like if I could come home, fine. But she want me safe. So that's how I had to kind of think about that. And I had to apologize to myself, and I had to ask God to help me get that off of me, because it's like we had a great relationship, but grief will make you feel like you did something wrong. Cause it's
Mhm.
like it
Mhm.
didn't happen the way you thought it was gonna
Mhm.
happen.
Mhm.
So, and then working in the funeral home, I think the funeral home makes it even more heavy because
Yeah.
somebody, you burying somebody younger than me, older than me, somebody mama, their daddy, their
Mhm.
granddaddy, everything. So it makes you like, death is always around me.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it's
It
like,
it is. It is. Yeah.
I don't live like if my friend be like, okay, you want to go to Miami for 2 days? You want to go to the beach? So we going. Long as I'm back at work. But I don't be hesitant to do things. Like if I need to go do this or go that, or God put people on my heart to call or text,
Mhm.
I try to be more up on my game now. So if
Mhm.
somebody that is near and dear to me, if something were to happen, God forbid, I've done my part in their lives. If anything, it
Mhm.
make
Mhm.
you give your flowers while people living type of vibe up heavy. Even though I thought
Mhm.
I've been
Mhm.
doing that, but when you in this situation and you working in
Mhm.
it and then you in it and you survived it and you still surviving it sometimes, give
Mhm.
people their flowers while they
Mhm.
still living.
Right.
Call them and let people know that you
Mhm.
love them. Like the people that, some people ain't talked to their mom in years, months,
Mhm.
over petty stuff.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then you come to the funeral home, you got people that ain't seen their mama in 10 years, and they like
Right.
crash out. Like literally, when I used to make videos, reality videos about funeral service, I don't be lying. Like you think stuff like that don't happen, but it be happening.
Hmm. Mhm.
So I don't wanna don't wait till we at the funeral home to hit you. Oh, I should have called
Mhm.
my daddy. Oh, why
Mhm.
he wasn't in my life? Why my mama wasn't in my life? Why my grandma not in my life?
Right.
And we got to stop living in a society where we keep doing that, because everything has a root to it. Even in my life, I had to look at people in my life that I was like, okay, why you not doing this? I thought you supposed to be this. But when you learn about the person and their story and how they grew up, how can a person be something for you that they didn't have or that they didn't see? And then we in
Mhm.
this adult body in this adult world, and we
Mhm.
want a fantasy out of somebody ain't never that
Mhm.
they ain't. And the age ain't got nothing to do with it. So it be making my
Right.
mind be like
Right.
everywhere. Like I be thinking about all aspects.
Right.
That's because that's what I see.
Mhm.
And a biggest thing, and I see also, is a lot of people die with broken hearts.
Mhm.
Older people live with regrets and never fulfill or be
That's
with who they
that's
want to be with.
that's deep right there. That's another
Yes,
video right there. That's another topic. That's here we
yes,
go. She about to make another video right here. She about to, it's deep. It's deep. I mean
yes.
everything you just said is deep.
Hmm.
I mean dying with a broken heart. I mean that's deep right there.
Hmm.
Like I had so many deaths in my family. You know what I mean? From committing suicides to having family members dying back to back. Me being the oldest grandson, you know, cousins dying, committed suicide. My grandfather dying, having uncles dying, having cousins getting shot, getting killed. So it's like back to back, and it affects us. Sometimes, like you said, we put that wall, we put that face mask on so people won't see how we truly feeling. And a lot of times, that those things are eating us inside it slowly, just little by little. We try not to show people that because we want to look like we're strong, especially us as men. We want to look hardcore. We strong. That's not gonna bother us, But once you close them doors, behind them doors, you don't know what people are going through.
Yeah.
So does this affect you? How does it affect you? I mean, dealing with grief, all these families that come to you about death, about dying or whatever the case may be. Do you let this affect you or how do you work with it? Because you can't tell me, oh no, I'm good. I'm fine. I mean, you gotta have ways to dealing with this because
Hmm.
it's this is heavy. This is not,
Yeah.
like you said, this is not for everybody. This is not for the soft. I mean, you can't be a soft person and deal with all of this because it's a
Right.
lot. And then you dealing with all different types of families. Every family is different.
Mm.
You get family that understand the grief and what they have to go through, and then you get these other family, they just go buck wild because they don't know how to deal with their emotions.
Yeah.
And then you got to deal with a lot of broken families because a lot of families don't come together. What I mean? A lot of families don't come together, but when somebody dies, everybody shows up.
Right.
So how do you not
That's
let
why
this
I said,
affect you?
um, I would say many are called, few are chosen. That's what I would use for what you just said.
Hmm.
Because this I definitely have to tell people that this is a calling. This is not nothing that you can just wake up and say
Hmm.
um that you want to do. So that's how I could deal with it. Like, and when I feel like I'm getting overwhelmed, I just need space. I just need to go to the nail salon and go get my nails done. I need some time to myself to breathe. Go out to eat by myself. Because I'm the only child, so
Hmm.
when I'm by myself, that's how I recharge. And then, and I love being by water. I love being on the balcony, looking at the city and enjoying this scenery. Like I love scenery. So when I get that, and then I come back to what I'm supposed to do, I'm fine. Like that's my recharge. But when you don't recharge and you let your job and you let the grief overdo you and you don't take care of yourself in the process, that's when you can go left. Because I had experienced that when I first started working. I was like, I'm gonna go a whole year. I ain't take no day off of work, and I thought that was cool, and it's
Hmm.
not. I thought I was about to die. Like what?
Hmm.
I was
Hmm.
miserable, and that's not the way. So when you take some time to yourself and get yourself together, however that look for you, then you'll be good. And
Hmm.
that's how I re grew. And even in mortuary school, if you they make you. I'm not saying that you're ready for death. None of that. I don't want to die.
Hmm.
But in mortuary school, they make you do your own obituary.
Hmm.
So what I'm saying. I'm not. It's like I'm glad I know God. I know. I feel like if something do happen to me, I know where I'm going. I know what I believe in. I know who I believe in. But they make us get prepared for it way before we want to. So it's like,
Hmm.
you know. So yeah.
I mean, do they try to have you guys somewhat like in that same situation? You know what I mean? So you guys can be ready for what you guys gonna deal with, like
Mhm.
having you guys do all of that.
Yeah, a lot. They have us do a lot. A lot.
Right. What's one thing you are passionate about outside of your career, and how do you make time for it?
Well, actually, I need to make more time for it. I can sing. I love to sing. I
Mm,
love music. I love poetry. I like going to poetry slam, poetry night. I
mhm,
like neo soul type of vibe. So that's something that I'm working in to get into because I just feel like it's just a part of me that I've not shut down or shut away.
mhm,
But when you work so much, do so much, like okay, let me do something else because I'm so talented and I gotta figure out how to incorporate everything that I have so I won't mishandle what I have. So yeah, singing. I wanna
mhm,
tap into that more.
mhm. I mean, yeah, you could most definitely somehow connect the singing with the grief counseling
Mhm.
and with everything you're doing. You start writing certain things down, and I'm sure once you start making music or record certain songs, or a lot of people's gonna relate to that. What I
Mm.
mean? Because you actually dealing with that right now. So you put that out in music, everybody's gonna be listening to that. Especially
Oh
those who are
yeah.
going through that process
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Those who are grieving start listening to certain music, what I mean, that has to do with that, especially someone who is helping others
Mhm.
go through that process as
Right.
well. So, what are your future plans? How aware do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years, married, house, kids. Um,
Oh, she ready. She got the whole list already.
not sure if I want my own funeral home this young, this early. I think that'll be if God say something different, okay, cool. I hear you. Bet.
Hmm.
But for me right now, I still got life I want to live, stuff I want to do. And where I work at now is, it's heavy. So I feel like in my 40s and 50s and when I get ready to settle
Hmm.
down and where I put my funeral home at, that's where I would do. That's what I want to do. But if God says something else, cool, I'm with it. Okay, bet. But for right now, I want to. I feel like within the next 2 years or year, I feel like I'll be traveling more with grief.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't know how that'll take care of me, but I feel like it will. I feel because I
Hmm.
want to do more women empowerment events. I want to be speaking in different places so we can incorporate grief because when you go to like when I go to conferences or go to different women stuff, you don't have that. You don't have these. So I want to be that blind spot in the industry, funeral industry,
Hmm. Hmm.
even if it's not even being a funeral director or embalmer. Still need that's still why I want to pursue in every industry is the grief part, and I'm not gonna stop till I get it, and I know I am. But yeah, I see myself definitely traveling, established, and happy, and making decisions that are from my soul and not from nobody else. So, and I know it's gonna work. I know it's gonna work out.
So, where can the viewers find you? Just
Oh,
on TikTok, or do you have different social platforms?
okay, mostly on TikTok. Okay, so my
Hmm.
TikTok is Michaela L. Hudson or Miss Funeral Home Lady.
Hmm.
And then my Instagram is K Hudson is CHAE Hudson. And then Facebook is just my name, Michaela Hudson.
So, what advice do you have for those who are watching this interview, and are going through the process of death in the family,
Hmm.
or those who are grieving for recent loss, or been grieving for years, for loss in the family, or whatever the case may be? What would your advice be to them?
Um, because I always look at it as what I would want somebody to tell me when I was going through. That's how I try to articulate and speak from a place of that broken girl I was in
Hmm.
college. I would tell her and I would tell you all today that it's okay not to be okay because
Hmm.
I was going through grief and I didn't know it. Like I'm depressed, I'm sad, I'm all these things. I'm not going to class. I don't fail. What am I in? I'm in grief. And it's not a quick process. It's not nothing that you can go to the doctor and get prescription for and then go away. It's not gonna happen like that. So you gotta endure and take every day by the day and be soft on yourself because a lot of things that you thought you were gonna do in return to, you're not going to be able to do that. Washing clothes, taking the taking the kids out, helping them get changed, taking a shower,
Mm-hmm.
cooking, simple things that just gonna seem like it's gonna take you back down to being a baby again. That's
Mm-hmm.
how bad it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't want you to think that you crazy because you feeling that. That's what happened when you live with somebody or be with somebody all your life and then one day this traumatic, this you get that phone call, that traumatic call, and everything has changed.
Mm-hmm.
So know that you're not crazy and that it's okay for you to cry. It's okay for you to have those moments where you feel like you just don't know what to do. Have it and let whatever come out. Long as you're not harming yourself. No self-harm. And sometimes it gets to the point where you feel like that. Call 911. Call
Mm-hmm.
somebody that you need. Call somebody that you trust to come sit with you. Because a lot of times, even with people around us, they want to help, but they don't know how. So
Mm-hmm.
if you know you got somebody around that you trust, say, hey sis, hey friend, hey brother, can you please just come sit with me? You don't got to say nothing, but just sit with me.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you release and let it out, you really not looking for nobody to say nothing. You just looking
Right.
for to speak about how
Mm-hmm.
you feeling on the inside of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just know that it's okay not to be okay in this moment. Like you don't have to be hard while grieving. It's different, and we have to accept that it's different now, and you have to be
Mm-hmm.
very, 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 very patient with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would suggest.
Well, I thank you for taking the time to be on the podcast, and I pray that God keep opening doors for you, because
Thank
I'm
you.
sure, um, being a grief counselor, you'll be able to reach millions and millions of people, with faith, walking
Yes,
by faith. And I'm sure that you will impact a lot of people with what you're doing right now.
thank you.